Good afternoon, Shilpa ma'am. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm very well. Thank you so much. I'm doing very well. I hope you're doing well too.
I'm doing well too, thank you. So, what's happening
Wonderful.
around? What's going on?
So we're hopefully coming out of the pandemic now and being able to have people come back to schools and colleges. So I'm looking forward to that happening. So yeah, that's what's basically up. I'm hoping things settle down a little bit more.
Definitely. Okay, so let's begin with a brief introduction about you. Kindly introduce yourself to the people watching.
All right. So I am by training a human resources professional, and I did my BBA and then my MBA. And then after having worked for a very long time in human resources, where I was heading the function for a national level law firm, I decided that I wanted to go back to what I really originally wanted to study, which was psychology. And at the time that I wanted to study it, it didn't seem like there was going to be too many opportunities, or at least that's what the thought was. Um, so I did human resources, which was my closest way of doing that. So I spent time doing HR. And after having spent a long time doing human resources, I realized I'll go back to studying psychology. Then I did coaching, and eventually I wanted to be able to work with students to be able to help students build employability skills from the school level up. And I got involved with getting into the whole education skill build, being able to help students with employability, helping students with helping making career choices. So yeah, that's what I do.
Amazing. You have such a whole bulk of experience, and it's really glad to listen about you from you itself. So, it's really good. And welcome to Journey Teachers.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's start with the very first question. Okay,
Hmm.
so what is the need for career guidance in India, and kindly stress upon that?
So you know what? The need for career guidance in India is really, really huge. Because most people tend to sort of believe in just a few of the traditional options that are there: lawyer, engineer, doctor, chartered accountant, civil services. Okay, bahut zyada and too much on the outside, or you'll say, oh, MBA, that kind of a thing. But not that there's anything wrong with any of these career options. I mean, they're brilliant career options. But do they always make sense for everybody? Not necessarily. There are so many other things that we need to be able to think about, to be able to just know that the world is changing so much and so rapidly that it's really important to be able to explore different opportunities, different industries, different types of work that you can do. And that doesn't really happen very much. So systematic career guidance is very important. And so I feel it's really critical, both at school level, college level, even after you've started working. If there is a point where anyone feels like, oh, I don't know if I made the right choice and I want to be able to change, even at that point, being able to reach out to a career counselor or a coach and being able to get that help is a really great way to be able to kind of be happier in your life. So you're doing something you enjoy, that you're good at. And so the need for career coaching is very, very important. School, college, working professionals, just to be able to have a more systematic way of making career choices.
That's absolutely so true. People are so much confused, and there's no specific stage of career guidance. They want it at every stage, maybe a student life, college life, career, like anything. So it's
Yeah.
so well said. Okay. So networking leads to many more opportunities for the individual, and your network is your net worth, it is said, and actually understanding the power of reaching out. Your take on importance of networking and how it can actually help in one's journey.
I think it's a really important thing to be able to start networking and to be able to connect with people. It's very important because you don't know when an opportunity is going to come from where, right? So you may end up connecting with someone on a particular platform. It could even be, honestly, even a social media platform, and you could follow them for something, or you could be, maybe it's a writer or an author or somebody you admire, or some even an influencer, and you want to watch, and there is learning from that, from what you're watching and learning. And two, you're also able to kind of build that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Networking is so
So
much
someone's
important to
journey, learning about what
right.
they enjoy, learning about it. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so while networking, isn't it difficult to constantly follow up with the person? Some networking tips in that as well.
Yeah, you don't need to always constantly be following up with someone actually. So I'll give you an example. Say, for example, there is a student who wants to go and study in a particular university or wants to do a particular profession, right? They reach out to people on a business networking platform like LinkedIn and reach out to them and say, hey, I wanted to be able to find out your thoughts on your journey or be able to learn from you. And would you be comfortable being connected to me? And a lot majority people who are on networking sites or who are on business networking sites, I'm more than happy to be able to connect and share and say, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to speak to you. You may not need to like call them every day and say, okay, now what do I do, now what do I do, kind of a thing. But you actually are able to follow their journey, see what they did. Maybe you can look up a course they did, maybe you can look up the university they went to and learn from that. Also being able to look at, maybe there's a college or a university you like, being able to reach out to those people who are studying in that college or university, or even following that college or university, on LinkedIn or any other platform, to see where do graduates from here go, what happens. So that's a really great way of being able to learn, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you spend all your time following up with someone. If you are following up with someone, send them an email or send them a message. Always take about a 5-day gap before you message them again and say, just wanted to touch base and see, and let them come back to you. Most people will reply when they realize, oh, it's been 5 days, I haven't even replied to this person. They'll come back and they'll reach out to you. So that will happen.
That's absolutely so true. Like building genuine connections matter, and it's not necessary to follow up with the person every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think the career selection process should start from when a student is in ninth standard itself? Why is that? Because many students aren't aware of that as well.
So I don't think anyone should be finalizing their career in class 9. Absolutely not. Right? Should you be thinking about what you like studying and your subjects in class 9? Should you be focusing on building strong skills in the subjects that you are studying and choosing the right stream in class 9? That should 100% be happening at that point. But do I need to finalize my career in class 9? No, I don't need to finalize it then. I do need to start thinking about, okay, this is what I like, this is what I enjoy, these are the things that are available with it, these are the possible things I can do beyond the traditional elements, and start thinking. At least, do you need to make a final decision? No, but starting to think at that point is important, because a lot of things get connected: college admissions, and being able to build profile, your grades, so many things get connected that are looked at from the class 9 point onwards. So it's important to be able to start thinking about it in class.
Right. In class 9 standard, like we should definitely start exploring and not planning at least, but we should start looking at the various options available.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So, on what factors should a student decide which board to choose, like CPSE, maybe ICSE, IB, etc., especially in 11th and 12th?
All the boards are excellent boards. Okay. So it is not like one board will give you more opportunity than the other. That's not the truth. Every single board will give you an opportunity. Okay. How do I choose if I want to be able to pick a different board? You have to be able to understand what that board is about. So if you are somebody who likes to be able to do more research based work, more analytical work, more sit down and find out about lots of things, something like the IB board or the IGCSE board might make more sense for you, because you just enjoy that thinking beyond what's in the textbook, right? And that's your way of being. You like being like that. So there, that can be one decision. I think in terms of whether each of the boards is going to give you an opportunity to go abroad or in India, or will you get a good option or not, all the boards are going to give you that. Now it's about style of studying and doing that. If you're wanting to be able to give some of the national level competitive exams, my personal opinion is to try and be able to stick to the Indian boards. It just makes it easier because you're following the same requirements, etc. Can you do it after having done a different board? Yes, a little bit more challenging, but doable. But as a rule of thumb, it should really be based on your own style of learning. How do you like to learn? And because each of the boards has very different element in it in terms of how they approach subjects. So mostly determined by your style of learning to what is it that you're long-term thinking. So I want to be able to go into a particular area of study, or I want to give an exam like a JE or a NEET exam. So then you'll make a decision based on that.
Okay, so different boards have different kind of requirements and they provide different kind of structures as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And does, as you said, that does any of the boards affect the college admission criteria? Like one will benefit from that board if he is from
No,
that
not
board.
at all. What will impact your college admission is your grades, what you've done in your extracurricular, co-curricular, maybe an essay that you're writing, possibly an interview that you give, your entrance exam. Those things will make more of a difference. See, I can be from a particular board and be absolutely rubbish in my academics and in my, I've not done any extracurricular, co-curricular, I'm not doing anything else. I'm magically not going to get an admission. The college will also say, well, why should we give you admission? Right? So it's really dependent on the individual, not the board.
That's absolutely true. Like if we are from a certain board and we aren't doing anything on a student level, so it doesn't have any benefits.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what should a student focus on during the college years in terms of the elements of profile building to get a good, maybe an Ivy League university abroad for postgrads? What does the student university life look like in a profile, and what makes a good profile actually? How to spend time most productively during the college?
Okay. So the first and foremost thing that when you're in college is you should enjoy yourself. Okay. You should have a great time because college is the best time of your life. It's a time when you're free of a lot of responsibilities, but you also have a lot of freedom and you're an adult. So first and foremost, really enjoy your college life, right? Now, how do you get to enjoy your college life? Not only by partying all the time, but you can enjoy your college life by being involved in activities you've been involved in school. So maybe you're an author, so keep writing. Maybe you're a singer, so keep singing and join the music society. Maybe you're somebody who plays a musical instrument, so join the band or create one if you want, or start jamming with other people and create a band. Take part in music festivals, do all of that. Maybe you're a theater person, join the theater society. Maybe you're a sports person, play for the college. Get involved from those perspectives. Get involved in movements that matter to you. So maybe you are very passionate about a political thought, or you're very passionate about a particular way of thinking, or the environment or climate. Get involved in being an activist. Try to make change happen, right? And be able to understand. And students are where the change always happens. Students are the ones who will speak up about things that are right and wrong. Students are the ones who will raise their voices, and because the young people are the conscience of the nations, right? So they're the ones who will be able to do that. So get involved. Those are the great ways of being able to build your profile. um, or depending a great deal on where you want to go study and what you want to study, my general advice to most students is please try and get some work experience before you go for your post graduation, unless your area of study is such that requires a post graduation. So for example, I'll give you an example. If I want to become a therapist or a psychologist, I need to be able to have my masters of psychology. I can't do it without, right? I can't practice my craft. But maybe I've done a business degree, all right, or I've done a commerce degree or a management degree, or I've done even a bachelor's of science and I'm a researcher or a scientist, right? Or I've done a law degree. Work for some time, try and get some sort of work for some time, get work experience, and then apply to a post graduation. Ideally, be able to get experience about a year and a half, 2 years at least. For management colleges, you're going to need more. You're going to need about 3 years of experience to be able to make it into a college there. Even for if you want to go and study in India, always have work experience under your belt. It makes your post graduation much richer. A, you're able to really focus on what do I really want to specialize in, and two, you are able to learn more from it because you understand real world application as well. So your college building should be basically getting involved and enjoying yourself and being able to do activities you like, stand for election, student council, this, that, the other, and also be able to work after doing your graduation, ideally, and then be able to kind of get a idea where you want to go. And of course, going outside of India may require you, or even within India would require you maybe to give some exams, etc. But ideally have some work experience.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, the importance of work experience. It is so much necessary, and it does matter a lot in making your profile stand out.
Yeah,
Okay,
doing internships during your college will also help you. So that's also a really great thing to do.
right. Okay. So, how to actually identify one's passion based on interest and the natural aptitude as well?
Okay, so one thing we need to remember is passion finding and finding what we're passionate about is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to happen after we're trying different activities. We're going to have to be active about trying different things that we enjoy. It's only once we try different activities do we figure out what we're really truly passionate about, right? You may figure it out early, you may figure it out later. So don't be in a hurry to find out what you're passionate if you have not figured it out yet. It's okay, you'll figure it out at some point. How do you figure it out? You try different activities. You also think about the things you like doing now, which come easily to you. Okay, where you don't feel like you have to expend so much effort to be able to do this. So it could be a subject, it could be an activity, it could be anything else. So say for example, for somebody it could be art, for somebody it could be music, for somebody it could be reading, for somebody it could be calculations, right? Like they sit down to do maths, they don't realize, oh, it's been 5 hours I've been doing maths. For some people it could be that, right? So think about wherever it is that you're able to get that sense of this is really easy for me, and I don't realize how much time I've spent doing it. Those are areas that are coming naturally to you. Those are areas that are going to really help you in terms of really identifying areas you could be passionate about.
Absolutely. You don't have to worry if you haven't figured out a passion as of now. Just focus on the next best step, and that will go.
Absolutely. The most interesting people in the world don't figure out their passion till much later. So don't worry.
Right. Okay. So, going by this, your passion can be your profession. Following passion is very necessary and difficult at the same time. What do you think can be the consequences or the challenges that one might face and how to overcome them?
In following your passion,
Right.
um, sometimes you may not be able to immediately figure out what is the viable income generation that can come from your passion, like what is the job that I can do with this. So first and foremost, sitting there and figuring out what is the job that I can do. Also being able to, I mean, I'm somebody who very strongly believes, and I know there is a lot of belief out there that, oh, you must always have only plan A. Don't, if you don't have a plan B, then you will put all your effort in plan A and everything. I'm somebody who firmly believes in the fact that there should always be a plan B. So always make sure that your education doesn't suffer. Have a degree of some sort or of some sort of a skill that you can utilize to pay the bills in case your passion is something in that area which is slightly, where it's a high risk profession, which could be like theater or music or something where you're not always sure you're 100% going to be guaranteed success. Or being able to sit down and think about what are the viable things I can do. Maybe it's if your passion is writing, for example, working on a freelance basis and writing, or working with companies that require writers, or looking at the publication industry, or being able to look at magazines or newspapers and interning with them for a while, and being able to try and get work there. There's a lot of things that happen now online that you can do work with. So find ways that you can slowly build and work on that. There can be the stress that you may not get immediately wild fame and lots of money immediately. But if you are excellent at what you choose to do, and if you build excellence, money will come.
Definitely enhance your skills and money will definitely follow.
Absolutely, it will.
Okay, so it is said that an individual changes his or her career at least 6 to 7 times in a lifetime. And does that really hold true? How to deal with the generation gap interfering in that?
So I think more and more with the generation that is your generation, that will happen more often. My generation is still not changing careers as much, but changing jobs more. But your generation, and I say that it is going to probably reinvent themselves and change careers a lot more. And I think, honestly speaking, there won't be too much of a challenge on that because it is the way that life is now, right? Because we're looking at much more digital input, we're looking at much more fast-paced, much more dynamic work market. So I don't think the generation element is going to be too much of a challenge there. What you will need to be able to keep in mind is making sure you're constantly upgrading your skills or learning about what's going on in the world and being aware of what's going on. I'm not saying every time you have to get a new degree, but just reading more and being aware is going to be able to help you bridge that gap. If there is the fact that you're changing a job or switching your career, and your parents or your family is feeling like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you messing everything up? I told you not to do. It's very important to be able to sit down and educate them about things, and don't fight with them about it. Explain to them, because they're not doing it or saying it because they don't like you or they don't love you. They're saying it because they're worried, right? So it's coming from a place of fear for them. So I want to make everything okay for my child. So they get worried because of that. So remember, that's why your parents are getting hassled. Sit down with them, talk to them, and say, this is the reality, this is the situation, everything will be okay, because they are coming from a very different lens. In their time, it wasn't like that, right? So it can be a little scary to think about. So that's the best way to be able to handle it, is educate the people who are getting hassled. It is easier.
Yeah, definitely. Like, your family, your parents, they aren't your enemy, or like they worry about you, and you need to make them understand rather than fighting.
Yeah. Pick your battles. No point fighting over this.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so what are some important things to keep in mind while selecting a career? Want to hear from the career coach herself?
So, important things to keep in mind is, do I enjoy this subject? In order for me to be able to know that I'm going to be spending my whole day doing it. So, do I like this subject? So, don't pick an area where you're going to be miserable with that, or you're going to say, I don't like maths, but I'll do it. I don't like science, but I'll do it. I don't like history, but I'll do it, kind of a thing. Don't go only for what other people tell you is scope. Look at what you enjoy. So looking at the things that you enjoy doing, what is the impact, what are the things you want to be able to do. Being definitely be able to look at, do you have the aptitude for this? Have are you comfortable studying this subject?
Right. Okay. Okay. So these are some of the very important factors, and I really think that these matter a lot in selecting a career. Like, what do you think? What do you love? And you are not forcing to study that. What really interests you, you should pursue that.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so even today, people in some states are unfamiliar with the plethora of career options and know only four to five the popular ones. And they can be the stakeholders in a student's life, which affects the student's choices in making the career choices. So, what do you
Mhm.
think can be done in such a case? And like, I also talked with one of my teachers in school, and she was like, "What is liberal arts?" Like, she was very unfamiliar with the concept.
So in a career situation, there are multiple stakeholders that a student works with. One is the school, with which means the teachers. Then of course there is parents, and the student themselves who is doing the research. So first and foremost, the student should be able to kind of be aware about what's happening. So going to a career counselor, or being able to talk to a professional who does this, or using a platform that will help them be able to understand about careers is going to help. Also being able to share that information with their school, or encouraging their school to be able to engage with career counselors so they get information. Ask for that in your school if that's something that's there. But a lot of it is about building awareness. So it's about saying, okay, who's a career counselor I can speak to, or is there a platform where I can look at things and look at information and look at that. And with teachers, it can be very tough because teachers have so much work on their plates. Really, they work so hard, so it becomes very difficult for them also to keep up with every single bit of information, right? So that's why it's important to be able to, maybe, if, say, for example, you find out about liberal arts, and your teacher's like, what is liberal arts? One thing you can do is, okay, sir, ma'am, can you sit down with me, let us go through this, you help me understand it, right? So that way they are also learning it with you, they're figuring it out, and you can both figure it out together, kind of a thing. So be able to look up things, look at certified sources. Please don't look at just everything that's written on the internet. And be able to reach out to proper career counselors to be able to help.
Right, definitely. Teachers are so much engrossed in their own subject teaching, and they have much on their plate already. So we cannot expect them to know every bit of the things happening around. So career counselors in that case are very much important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so a liberal arts doesn't have any specific specialization. So is it good for the students to go with it, considering that it is offered primarily by the private colleges?
Okay, so I will change that. Liberal arts do have specializations. Liberal arts is primarily a degree that allows you to be able to study in a multidisciplinary manner. That means you study lots of different subjects and understand different perspectives. But in liberal arts, I can still choose to specialize in something. So I can choose to specialize in psychology. I can choose to specialize in economics. I can choose to specialize in some liberal arts colleges in entrepreneurship, in some even in a science subject like physics or chemistry or biology. So there will be a specialization that will come with liberal arts also. What liberal arts primarily means is you are looking at things from different perspectives. Is it a good way to be able to learn any degree? Absolutely. It's a brilliant way to be able to learn. Private universities may be the ones who are currently offering it, but a lot more, even with our education policy and central universities, a lot more of it turning towards a liberal arts way of doing things, right? The fact that I can mix and match, or I can blend even in a central university is leaning more towards liberal arts. So liberal arts is just about how you are studying something. So I think it's a great way to be able to explore, and there are more and more of places offering liberal arts education. At least, if nothing else, a student should definitely be looking at it. Explore it at least to see if it makes sense for you.
Right. Liberal arts is that career option, that degree to choose, which gives students that freedom to look at the variety of options and explore according to their interest.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So, there are a lot many career options and degrees, but what about the skill based careers? There are diplomas and certifications for that, but that's the problem. The student is considered doing nothing, and if they're pursuing a certification course and they aren't recruited, so one should be a degree holder, right?
Well, not necessarily. If the diploma course is specific to a particular skill that you need to be able to learn, that will still be able to get you a job. Definitely look at diplomas. There are some really great vocational diplomas also that are there, retail based, merchandising based. There will be more, those that will be there for image consulting, styling. There are lots of event management. Some of the central government ones are event management, are all diplomas that are given. So there's travel, tourism. The options are very many. So you don't necessarily need to be a degree holder in order to do that, but the question mark comes in only in case I want to do a post graduation, right? I may want to go and study and be able to do something at a post graduation level. Having a diploma will not count. I need to have a degree. Hence, even if you're doing a vocational diploma course, you can always use a school of open learning or a correspondence process to be able to get a degree in something that you like side by side while you are still learning or earning, and that's still a possibility. So you then reduce your risk a little bit, where you still be able to go do a post graduation. So that's the only reason. But are you not going to be able to get a job if you don't have a degree and only a diploma? No, I think the world today, in terms of even in India, has changed so much. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. The thing is choosing what you want to do. That's where you spend some time figuring out what you want to do.
Right. It really depends upon you what you want to do. Even if you want to pursue a skill-based careers, diploma will work in that. And as you said, the importance of degree will come only for if the post-grad options are being considered.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So what should a student in a country like India focus on and set his her goal upon being like the government colleges or the private ones?
I think right now, because there are so many options, you should be looking at both. So on your list of colleges, definitely have the government colleges and the central universities. Also be open to looking at some private colleges and universities as backup for yourself, or the government can be backup and you can look at a private one. But I think because we have so many more opportunities now of where we can study and you're not limited, you should definitely be looking at both. And there are a lot of private universities will also offer some really great scholarships and be able to do all that. So don't assume that, oh, it's going to be so expensive, so I should not look at private. There are private universities also are very keen on having good students. You may actually get a really great scholarship, or you might be able to secure a scholarship if you're maintaining a particular grade or something that you're doing. So don't be afraid to at least check it out.
Right. You should not limit yourself to one of the options, but you should
Yeah,
definitely explore
absolutely.
both. Okay. So, what do you think getting out of your home, your own city, to a different world in a new college, in a whole new city, among new people. It's a whole different kind of exposure for the student, and it's very essential as well. So, what's your take on this?
I think it's a brilliant thing to do. I think it's wonderful to be able to go, out of way, go out of your own city, to be able to meet new people. It teaches you so many things. It teaches you how to deal with different types of people. It allows you and teaches you to be independent. It's a really great exposure to be able to do this, and it's wonderful to be able to get that learning opportunity. Does it mean everybody should be running away from home and leaving their homes and doing that? No, do what is comfortable for you. If you're getting the opportunity to go and live in a different city and do studying somewhere else, and your parents and everyone is okay with it, and you're finding a really great college that's giving you the degree that you want, I think you should definitely give it a shot. Don't be scared. At some point in time, you'll do something new, and being able to be independent, going out there, managing your own time, managing a budget, being able to find ways of being able to solve your problems is going to help you, because when you go to do a job, when you go to work somewhere, you're going to have to do that on your own. So you'll be all grown up anyway. And so that point of time, nobody's going to come and do it for you, right? So the when you do it from the safety of being a student, it's a really, really great way to be able to learn. I'm all for it. I think you should go to where the opportunity is. If there is a college or a university somewhere that's giving you an opportunity in a different city, you should go where the opportunity is. I think that's what it should be about.
Definitely, the earlier you make the decision, it's more beneficial for you, and just go grab that opportunity. It's waiting for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so talking about the interview preparations, how do you think students should practice, and what is the minimum number of times, especially when the online interviews are taking place? What should be some things to be kept in mind compared with the physical, going to a particular place for the interview? That is much more difficult, right?
Well, being going to a particular place for an interview can be challenging, because you have to, now you're thinking about body language and everything. But even now, when we are talking to each other, I'm also thinking about body language. I'm also thinking about how I'm looking and what I'm saying. So how do you prepare? You look at what are your skills? What are the positives that you have? What are the things that you've done? Be aware of what you've written in your resume or your application. Don't be like, oh, I don't know what I did in that internship, and forget about something, right? So, acha, you did this in school, I don't remember. Be aware of what you've written. Be aware of the world. GK is very important. So read the newspaper, know what's happening in the world. Somebody, if you're going to go study a particular subject, somebody might ask you, what about this policy, and you're like, I don't know. So you can't be in that mode also, right? So be aware of what's happening in the world. GK is very important. Read the newspaper, especially if you're, whatever your area is, you should know about that, right? So if you're applying for a job or you're applying for an internship, be aware of what's going on in the world, for one. Two, how many times should you practice? As many times as you can. Get your friends to be able to practice with you, pretend that they're the interviewer to ask you questions as many times as you are comfortable. Practice once, twice, three times, doesn't matter. There is no minimum prescribed number of times. When you're comfortable, do that, but don't freak out. The other person on the other side is also a human being who's having a conversation with you only, na? But yes, you do need to be able to think about your body language. Online also, you need to know that you are ready to join at the right time. You have all the software required. You've got the link. You've got everything. Your mic should be working. You should have backup in your battery laptop. You should, have a dongle for backup if you have a connectivity or a power issue in your area. These are simple things that you can think about to be able to do that. But be aware that it is as important as an in-person interview, even online. So because, see, look, if I sat down and I talked to you like this, I said, yeah, yeah, tell me, haha, and I answer your questions. Everybody who's watching will also be like, oh, maybe she's not interested in being there. I don't know why they've asked her to talk, right? So it makes a big difference how who you are can come across on a screen also.
I just love the example you illustrated so well. Okay. So these were some really amazing interview tips for the students to prepare, and just be yourself. Don't worry. Just have a exciting interviews are always exciting conversations for me. So
Absolutely.
right, okay. So I also want to talk about the 9 to 5 corporate versus becoming an entrepreneur. Today, a lot has been going around being your own boss and leaving the 9 to 5 job, starting your own business, having a startup. So, how do you look at this?
I think it's wonderful that people want to be able to follow their passions or do things that are, being able to help them build a company or build an organization. Being an entrepreneur is a very responsible job. You're going to be responsible for other people's money. You're going to be paying and starting. You're going to become a job creator. So that's a really great thing. But also the fact that you have to remember that being an entrepreneur is not easy. Okay. It is something that requires a great deal of dedication. You're not going to have like lots of holidays and things because it's your baby. You're going to be working on it. I think both types of work, in terms of a 9 to 5 or being an entrepreneur, are both very fulfilling. It really depends on what you want to do at that stage in your life. You may want to be able to get some experience in a larger corporate and then move to starting your own business once you have a lot more clarity. Being an entrepreneur does allow you to stay close to what you're passionate about. So you may be really passionate about something, so you get to do that every day. But you do need patience. You do need to know that it takes time. You do need to be able to network. You'll need to be also good with your administrative 9 to 5 things, like how you're doing your billing, making sure you're filing the right things at the right time, you're doing your taxes. So you do need to learn the nitty gritty as well. Both areas can be really, really fulfilling to be a part of. Do the entrepreneurial journey when you are ready. Don't be like, oh, everybody's saying startup, startup. Everybody's watching Shark Tank and saying funding, funding, fund. Don't follow a bandwagon. If you feel, no, I want to work for some time, I want to learn for some experience in a company and do that instead. Working for a large organization can be as fulfilling as working for yourself, right? So it's about what makes you comfortable, and working in a large company can actually teach you a lot of things about systems and process and how things are managed. And that can be things that you can take with you and learn from also. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5, and 9 to 5 is only office timings. Office starts at 9, finishes at 5. Even when you have your own company, you will still be doing 9 to 5, because there will be those people who work for you who will come at 9 and go away at 5, right? So 9 to 5 is just office timings. There's nothing horrible about 9 to 5.
Right, there's just so much like hype about 9 to 5, but it's like it's a normal thing. It's just the office hours timing, as you said, and you'll be definitely including that in your entrepreneur journey as well. So, one takeaway from what you said is do what is best for you and do what you want to do at a particular time.
Correct. And both are positive things. Working for someone in terms of a job, and being able to have your own business is also really great. Both have their risks. You have to be able to be ready to see what it is that you're wanting to do at that time.
Absolutely. So, what would be your overall advice for the students?
Read, learn about the world, watch lots of shows, lots of documentaries, know about different things, be empathetic, understand that everybody has their own battles and is carrying their own load with them. If you lead with empathy, you become a very strong leader who is able to inspire people. And no matter what you do, always be kind. So yeah, that's my advice. But reading and being kind are two important things. So yeah.
Right, definitely. Students should actually focus on building skills and like reading, writing, and be aware about what's happening in the world. Okay,
Yes, that's when you learn where your opportunities are going to be. If you're not reading, not aware of what's happening in the world, you might miss out on something that you might realize is going to be big later. So you might read an article today and go, wow, this is going to be really big in 2 years. I can start working on it right now. Then you have an advantage, no? But if you're not only aware of what's happening in the world, you're not looking at the world around, how will you find your opportunities?
definitely. So you want to talk about the way students can reach out to you or maybe your association with Mindler.
Sure, sure. Yes. So I work with students in schools as well as independently through Mindler. You can reach out to us at hello@mindler.com. They can check out the Mindler platform at mindler.com. And Mindler helps students be able to make career choices in a scientific manner. So I think it's really great. You get to be able to interact with some brilliant career coaches who help students every day being able to make the right choices on streams, on subjects, on boards, on college choices, careers. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us at mindler.com. We'd be happy to help students and work with them. And sure, for sure, that's how you can reach out to us.
Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming here and sharing your valuable insights. It was having an, I was really excited and we had just a lovely conversation. It's my humble pleasure to host you here.
Thank you so much, Kriti. It was lovely talking to you and well done on this. I like how entrepreneurial you are in your thinking and the fact that you are using your time wisely to be able to build this and to build community. So well done. Kudos to you as well. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How did you find this interview? How did you find me as a host?
Very nice. Very nice. This was very good. I enjoyed doing this. This was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.